obviously you said you told yourself you want to go back and you go back in. Is that the point you really started looking to yourself and say, I got to get this rage thing under control?
Yeah, definitely, 1,000%, 1,000%. Prior to it, I mean, I've probably said it. I probably said it tons of times, hundreds of times throughout my career. But like I say, until you make the decision to put the work in behind it, there's many a times I knew I get this rage under control. But guess what? I would get away with the situation, or time would pass, and then I get into something else. But at a certain point, it was like in my mind, you know, when something happens, it's like cowboy mode goes off, and then when it's over, it's like uh, the switch is back and I'm normal. And then it took me years to understand why that was, and it was from the trauma in the past. Like, you know what I mean? I had a South African mom, had no brothers, no big brothers, no, not a lot of family of men who lived in the town. So I was used to, you know, doing whatever I had to do to make sure I'm safe. So as I got older though, and I got more famous and I got known, I refused to let anyone step on my toes. But then that turns into the ego starts operating.
Come be a part of history and experience the sharing of wisdom from some of the most brilliant thought leaders in our community. Come see Muda Baruka, Styles P, Nori Muhammad, Lawrence Haja, Dr. Dorothy Holly, Dejaz Mach Kwasi, Deborah Hines, and Midwife Asasia impart their wisdom at Groundless with My Brothers and Sisters, a holistic health conference. A plant-based breakfast and lunch are included. Looking forward to seeing you there.
It went from refusing to have people step on my toes and being safe, and refusing to have to worry about being robbed in the hood because I'm famous and this and that, to now I put it in overdrive when something happens. Now my ego is in full control of the operation. Now it's like I don't give a fuck and I want to do something, and I dare you. Who, what, like, and that's when I started noticing, this has to change. But I just couldn't grasp the control over it.
What was the process? You mentioned it was a you had to work on it. So what?
Process is hitting rock bottom. That's the process. You could always tell yourself something, but you have to come to a point in time where you're like, I have enough. And that was enough for me.
So what was your first experience where after you made that decision, the last decision, right? Something occurred, and you really had to check the ego, and you just had to walk away. Do you remember that first experience?
Um, it was the first few experience wasn't even physical. It was more so mental, and not because one, I had to experience that before that even happened with being in the music business. So before that even happened, it happened because I had to learn early. Okay, this is a music business. Like on the street, somebody violates you, you already know what it is. I see you, you're gonna split my shit, or I'm gonna split your shit, and that's what it is. And the music business is not the same thing. So I had to learn how to work with that early. But as time advanced, I had to learn to apply that to the streets. Like, you know what I mean? So that came with learning really how to manifest what I want to do, where I want to be, and control my energy. So that was understanding people, places, and things, how to operate on them, um, know how to bounce out on a bad vibe, go with people that works for you, go with what works for your mind. And then I also had to remember to tap into my I'm like a nerd with rage. You know what I mean? So it was a weird place to be in. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like, all right, let me tap more into my thoughtful side, the side of me that likes to think.
I want you to elaborate more on something you just said so the brothers could hear it. The importance of not going certain places. And when you pick up on negative vibes, it's okay to leave.
Yeah, bounce on a bad vibe. I think it's very important to know people, places, and things. What works for you, what works for your soul, what works for your brain, what works for your heart, what works for your body, and then to know. Um, you always get a gut feeling when you don't belong somewhere. You got to know to follow your gut. That's why eating healthy is important. Also, a lot of people don't correlate or understand that the gut is the second brain. It's direct correlation between everything that's going on. So if you don't get that, and you start not following your gut, you could expect for something bad to happen.